is home to many wonders, but one that has seen people travel from across the globe is a truly sustainable gem of the sea, the oyster pinctada maxima, the Australian South Sea pearl. The Japanese cemetery is a reminder of the rich cultural diversity found here. And it was the early Japanese divers who scoured the seafloor for these beauties. Not for pearls as such, but actually for the shells, which produced buttons. The wild, naturally formed pearl was just a bonus when found. It was a Japanese man, Mikimoto, back in the late 1800s that patented the very first technique for culturing pearls. And his perfect pearls that were just round and full of lustre set the world alight. And pretty soon, everybody had to have them. It is his techniques refined and evolved for Australian conditions that has seen the cultured Australian South Sea pearl trade blossom right out of Broome in WA's magnificent Kimberley region. Today it supplies 90% of the world's South Sea pearl value. The South Sea pearl is something beautiful to behold. It's easy to understand how people fall in love with them. This is something the Banfield family knows better than most. They went from a wheat and sheep farming family to pearl farmers over 30 years ago. And their iconic real pearl farm at Willie Creek is both a destination for inquisitive tourists and jewellery lovers alike. The way a pearl is formed is simply remarkable. You have the oyster that would naturally be on the bottom of the ocean or the river floor. A foreign body embeds itself inside and it covers around the outside with this substance here, nacre. Now this coating ends up forming the pearl as we know it. But in a cultured pearl, well, it's strategically placed inside the gonad of the oyster itself, which then covers it, and through, well, the very, very clever techniques of continually moving the oyster, you'll end up with the perfect pearl. Paul Birch is the CEO of Willie Creek Pearls. The whole process of creating a cultured pearl is incredible, and it all starts with harvesting wild oysters actually out of the waters here just off Broome.
Yeah, that's right, Trevor. We collect the oysters, or we go and fish them, as it were, from down near the 80 Mile Beach. And the oysters that we have here today were fished around about 2 months or so ago. And then after that, we've relocated them up to our main farm where they've just been acclimatising to their new environment for the last 6 weeks or so. This is, I guess, the start of the oyster's pearling career. It's the first time that we're going to put a nucleus inside it to start growing or forming a pearl. From this point, the oysters will be panelled back up and then they'll go back out with the divers. They'll be back on the sea floor where they'll go through a short resting period, and then after that they'll be turned for a certain period to assist in creating the right shaped pearl. So these particular oysters will be back in here in 2024, and we'll be able to extract that pearl with another surgical procedure, and assuming that the pearl, of course, is of the right quality, we'll be able to replace that pearl with another nucleus. Then it'll go on to grow its second pearl, and then beyond that, hopefully we'll be able to do the same and grow a third pearl.
Hiro, you've had a pretty interesting career in the pearling industry. You're a technician now, but you actually started as a diver?
Yes, I come into 1970. First and second and engineer, then start diver.
So tell me about this role, because you've been doing it here at Willie Creek for a long period of time, right?
36 years.
36 years.
Yeah.
How many oysters do you think you've seeded in that period of time?
I don't know, maybe over 500,000 or I'm not sure.
Wow.
And this is the abductor muscle that opens and closes the pearl shell. And this is the little pea crab. He's got a symbiotic relationship with the shell. It keeps him all clean and tidy. And we choose a nuclei that suits the gonad area. And then we put a piece of sorobo tissue in. And that's what will create the pearl sac around the nuclei.
You'd think the wild harvest, the technical and risky process of seeding, would be challenging enough. But the next stages of the process of nursing these shells is critically important too.
So from here, the panels are going to get loaded onto our dive boat. The dive boat's going to take them out up to our lease at Quandong Point.
Yep.
From there, they're going to load them and tie them back onto the long line, sink them down to the ocean floor. We're going to give them about 10 days of rest, and then they're going to be going back every second day to turn the panels and allow that nucleus to have the pearl sac form around it.